I personally tend to look at this notion of a payment system that connects every Indian essentially as a natural monopoly or as a utility. It's not efficient to have 5 different parallel networks that don't talk to each other, just like it's not efficient to have 5 different electricity suppliers putting cables into every home or 5 different water pipes into every home because there's 5 different suppliers. The logical thing is for every person to have one source of electricity, one source of water, one connection to the national payment system. But that doesn't mean that you're captive because someone else can, because all of these things are connected between them. So you're part of a broader system. That's my starting point, that this is more like a utility at the payments level. So from interconnection point of view, or sorry, interoperability point of view, there's 2 aspects related to that. First is, if someone is giving me that service, they should be connected to everybody else. So don't put me in an island. Don't put me in a situation where this payment capability that you've just given me is only to pay to people in a closed community. Don't stick me into an island. Connect me to all other Indians. I feel very strongly that the process of development is a process of connecting people. Development generally is seen as a process of accumulation of assets. And yes, there's some of that. But I think the most important way to get people into modern society is to connect them to roads so they can access markets. Connect them to education, to schools, so they have more knowledge. Connect them to power grids so that they can improve the way they do business. Connect them to water, and in a similar way connect them to a payment system. So this notion of interconnection between all payment players, I think, is central. And it's central from a development point of view, but it's central also from a customer proposition point of view. A payment system that only connects me to 10,000 other people is not as valuable as one that connects me to 100,000 or to 100 million people. So the more people I can pay, the more value I derive from that connection, and hence the more willingness to pay I have for that service. Again, it's getting to that notion of the value proposition. There's a second sense of interoperability that is important. I might have a provider that connects me to this India-wide payment network, but it's possible that they've done it in a way that has locked me into that provider. For example, because it's based on card and point-of-sale terminal that is proprietary. Any other provider that wants to take over my service has to replace that infrastructure, and that makes it very costly. So there is an element of interoperability at the technology level, so that when a store has a point-of-sale terminal, it can serve the cards from different providers. So this avoidance of specific technology, of proprietary technology, is very important, because when you put proprietary technology in front of the customer, what you're doing is trying to lock up that customer. I need to be able to connect it to all of Indians, but I also ought to have a fairly simple path to switch provider when the one that was offering me the service I'm not happy with. So avoid proprietary solutions, and that is clearly a regulatory question, to set standards on this sort of equipment that could be used to lock people.